Hello and welcome to Homemade. I am Chef Krista, here today with Chef Mary in the chat. Today our partners are Pan. We are going to be making this amazing dish, a corn and basil gnocchi. Welcome, welcome in. Come on in to our homemade class. I'm so excited to share this recipe with you. Right off the bat, one of the great things about it is it's fast. We are going to do a little TV magic here today, but it is fast because we are using this corn that has been pre-cooked. So that's one of the special attributes of it. We'll talk more about that. It is also a gluten-free recipe, and it is so versatile. We are showing you the very sort of base layer of what you can do with this, and I think this is a recipe that you can change up as you get used to it. It is a very exciting recipe. I think of this recipe also as, it's a clean slate. You can paint all over this with whatever produce you want. So let's talk a little bit about the title and the actual dish that we're making first. So when you signed up, you saw, corn and basil gnocchi, and you might have thought to yourself, little nuggets of corn, right, Mary? Like, we thought, gnocchi in a little boop, 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 boop.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
And I did too. And I was like, wait a minute, when I started making this is not gnocchi the way I know it. So this is gnocchi from the Rome sort of region. So this is what they call gnocchi in Rome. And it's made with corn, not potatoes. I mean, I love gnocchi of all kinds. I've made the potato gnocchi. I've made sort of a ricotta and lots of greens gnocchi.
Ooh, the ricotta ones are so
They're
good to make them homemade. Yeah.
Yes. But I want you to sort of put aside your notions of what is gnocchi and take a trip, because that's what we do when we cook, is we take a trip via food. And this is going back to food that originated in Rome, where they are cooking their cornmeal and then they're baking it off super simple, and then adding some other, ingredients or layers, and of course cheese to it. So this is different. It's gnocchi, and it's not wrong. It's just a different gnocchi. It's a gnocchi from Rome.
It's gnocchi, and it's not wrong. It's from Rome.
That's right. That's right. So go ahead and take this leap with us. First things first. We're going to use this specifically, this cornmeal, this pan cornmeal, because it is pre-cooked. So first things first, I am going to get going heating some milk, because we're just going to pour hot milk. Come on now, here we are. We're going to pour hot milk into our pre-cooked pan. So that's about 2.5 cups of milk to heat up. And the ingredients here are super simple. You can run with it in any direction, but it's that ratio of the pan, the harina pan, so a flour made of corn, and hot milk, and then some spices, and we're gonna add in some cheese and some real corn on the cob. But that's the basic ratio that you start with, is this 2 cups of milk, and we're gonna use our pan, our harina here. Harina means flour. So also want to put out there right away, get this off the table, is that this is different it's different from masa arepa and the kind of corn flour that you make tortillas with, because that is nixtamalized with an alkaline lime water solution. So it's corn that has been treated. This corn has just been mechanically pounded and dried, and has no other additives, preservatives, or chemicals in it. Yes.
We have a quick question from the chat.
Okay,
from
cool.
Pat. Is the white pre-cooked cornmeal interchangeable with the yellow?
Yes. Yes, they're both pre-cooked, and it's from the corn itself that was grown and processed. So
nice. Great question, Pat. Thank you.
Thank you for asking that. Yes, they are interchangeable. And so we have our cornmeal that's going to go in here, and we're also going to feature this fresh corn here. I want to show you all a trick for getting this corn off the cob. Now, everybody has their different ways, and Grandma taught them how to do it one way. This way is supposed to keep it all falling down into the bowl, right? So normally you cut corn off the cob and it wants to scatter. It's like, it's a party, let's go. So
I'm asking in the chat, are we corn on the cob or off the cob, people? I really like to eat it on the cob, but I love to cut it off the cob for other people.
You like to cut it off for other people?
Yeah, like
you're
kids
gonna be a great
or other
mom.
people at the thanks. All the kids at various gatherings. I don't know. It's so cute to not have their faces and hands be messy with the corn juice.
I love it. I love corn on the cob, like, when it's a barbecue and when everybody's getting messy with all the food. I agree with you there. But that did a great job of the corn just falling into the bowl around this smaller bowl that I have placed in here. And we want to use about a half a cup is going to go into our masa, and then we're going to sprinkle some on with our brown butter sauce at the end. Did I mention the brown butter? Because that might have been what brought you to this class.
Krista, people are loving your matching nail polish.
Oh,
with your
thank
apron.
you.
It's really
Thank
showing
you.
up green on the
Thank
stream.
you.
It's great.
Well, I am Irish, and I was celebrating.
Oh, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. All right, so we're going to cut this off. Now, I just tossed this corn cob, but if I was cooking this at home, I would definitely not toss this into the compost. I would put this into a pot of water and bring it to a boil and get that corn stock. Basically, it's an amazing thing. Well, corn milk. And it's an amazing thing to have available for making a corn chowder or a fish stew. It's like sweet and milky, and you can actually sort of boil it and then milk the cob, if you will. But it makes for delicious, delicious broth.
Someone is saying in the chat, let's see, who was that? Denise said you could use an angel food pan for holding corn when slicing off the kernels.
Love it.
Imagine.
You see?
Inventive.
That is great. Perfect. All right, this is still coming up to temperature, but I've cut off probably enough corn that I need. I'm just gonna break it up with my hands. Some of this is going into our gnocchi mixture directly, and some is going to go into the pot.
Nice, a variety of textures.
Yes, some of it is gonna go into that butter sauce, rather. Okay, so for our masa, or our dough, we're gonna take just about 1.5 cups of the flour. We're going to take a teaspoon of salt, big kosher salt, and I don't remember what the recipe says for the pepper, but a good amount of pepper, a healthy dose of pepper, right? And then the secret ingredient, this is where I like to talk about ingredients that play well together, and corn and butter and then nutmeg. So it's a delightful combination that just brings out the sweetness of all those ingredients. So here is my fresh nutmeg. Well, it's dried, but nutmeg comes off of a tree in the Caribbean. And you want to use the fresh, just the smell is amazing. So if you have nutmeg in your cupboards from the holidays and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not going to use this till next year. No, this is what you're going to use it for. And it has this really fun pattern in here. It's beautiful. This is a great job for a kid. Put that in there. And then about 1/2 cup of grated Parmesan. Okay? So I always say you should make the recipe as written the first time, and then you can play with it afterwards. So I like a hard cheese in here. That's what we're going for. And then just disperse, whoops, look at all that nutmeg hiding out. So we want to disperse this throughout the bowl and then make a little well in the middle, and that's where we're going to pour in our hot milk shortly. In the meantime, we can get a little pan, so a smallish. I really love these quarter size sheet pans. I use them to put all the spices out on things, or if I have frozen cookie dough in the freezer and I just want a couple of cookies, This is the perfect size sheet pan for it. So we're gonna prepare that with a little bit of oil, nonstick spray, what have you. If you don't wanna spray it, you can put a piece of parchment paper in here. So we're just going to get this ready because, oh sorry, clanging around. We're gonna get this ready because once our dough has come together here, we're gonna pour it straight in there to chill. And we wanna get our milk hot. Oh yeah, it's getting nice and hot now, but not boil, okay? There we go. And I also preheated the oven to 425. It's ready for us. And you're also gonna make some space in your fridge. So some space in your fridge for this pan to chill, okay?
So, Krista, what if we don't have parm in the fridge? Could we use, like you said, you prefer hard cheese for this. Could you use a mozzarella? Would it be the end of the world?
I think it's just gonna make it really
stretchy
gooey.
and crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna make it hard when you see that we put it in the pan here. Another cheese I might use is a cotija cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a really great substitute for parm. That's maybe what I would use. What other cheeses are really common to people? People always have cheddar and mozzarella, you're right, in their fridges.
I feel like cheddar is a good one.
Cheddar is a good one. All right, so this is nice and hot, our milk here. And then we're gonna pour it into the center of our mixture. If you guys can see that. And we're going to just very slowly sort of bring in from the edges our masa harina, our pan flour, and our mixture here, because we don't want to get it too lumpy. So that's why I'm sort of pulling it in. Now, this next step, someone's gonna say it in the comments. She's making polenta. Sort of, but this is pre-cooked. So that means I don't have to sit at the stove top and, all right, that's the last of that. So it means I don't have to stand and stir. So our masa harina is pre-cooked. This pan flour of corn is pre-cooked. And
so it seems like it's similar to when you create pasta from scratch and you have that well to put the egg in.
Yes.
It seems like a similar workflow, if you will.
Yes. And now this is where I want to talk about, like, this is the kind of recipe that you do it, you learn to do it, and then you kind of go by feel. So I made a couple of these, and some looked more liquidy, some looked more firm like this, and so go by feel. We don't need it to be terribly firm because we want it to almost have a custard-like texture.
Could you use a mixer?
You really don't even need to.
It's sort of like a cookie dough. It just comes together.
It just comes together. I think it'd be more mess than it's worth to use a mixer. So I just put a half a cup of that corn on the cob in there, or corn off the cob, as it were. And that hot milk is this smells very corny now and delicious. So there are no dry spots anymore. And now if you were going to go ahead and work with this pan in a different application, you might be able to just chill it and shape it, rather you could shape it now and then chill it. But what we're gonna do is we're going to give it some shape here by putting it into our dish. And this is where wet hands work really well, but also bench scrapers. So friends, if you have seen me teach before, you know this is one of my favorite kitchen tools. Do yourself a favor. This is the multi-purpose tool of your dreams. So I have a flat, squishy plastic one, and I also have, which shortly we'll use the metal one. So you can also do this with wet hands. This is pretty hot from that milk mixture, so I'm using my bench scraper to do this, putting it into a nice flat. And then look at how great this is. I'm gonna get all those goodies. If there's nutmeg hiding, I got it now. I got it. Okay. And we're gonna press that into the pan. Maybe flatten it out a little, flatten those edges.
Oh my gosh, a dough out of nowhere.
This is
Looks
so
great.
This is also like just very gratifying to play with.
Yeah, it's adult Play-Doh.
It's adult Play-Doh or kids. Like, get your
Exactly.
kids to do this. It's not too hot that a kid would be like, I can't do it. It's not. It's great. So getting kind of the same thickness. We're going for about a 1/2 inch of thickness on that. And then this is going to go into the fridge and chill for about 30 minutes or so until it feels firm. So this is going to be great. This feels firm. Like I said, I sprayed that edge so that it is easy to come out. So this is going in the fridge. And because I like to do TV magic for you, this is just coming out of the fridge. This is ready from the fridge. This has been chilling now for quite a while. You can see this one, I did not have my trusty dough scraper yet, so you can even see my little fingerprints in it. But we're just going to plunk this out of our pan. I did use parchment on that one, just for safety's sake, I guess you could say. And here is our beautiful corn and Parmesan mixture. It looks ready to go. It's firm enough, right, that I'm going to be able to cut it. So the next thing I want to do is bring my next pan forward, and this is, again, just lightly coated a little bit of olive oil. I might do a little bit more. And we're going to shape these. Now, this is the fun part. You could use a cookie cutter, like a big biscuit cutter, and make round ones. I've seen that done. It's really pretty. You're going to basically shingle these beautiful little squares into our pan here, and then we're going to bake it off. So I'm going to go for like a 2x3, and I'm using my metal bench scraper here. I'm just going to put those, I think I like them, the shiny side up. I'm going to put those sort of shingled like so. This is rustic, right? We're not going for perfection here. This is a side dish to get on the table to serve with any number of other delicious dinners. Here we go. We're going to fill this dish up. Just a little bit of overlap is what we're looking for, and super, super rustic. Then we're gonna add a little bit more. Oh, look at all these goodies pieces that I have to add in. Make space. Now, I think this is so fun because this feels very doughy still. So when it cooks up, and that's all we needed to do to that. When it cooks up, it's going to get a little bit more custardy. We're going to add a little bit more Parmesan across the top of this one, and a drizzle of olive oil as well. How are we doing? Do we have questions? Do people have other ideas for how they might want to use this?
Folks are talking about times that their polenta went wrong.
Oh.
Times that it seems like folks are also having your same experience about the liquidy mixture and then adding in more pan as needed.
Right.
To achieve that texture we're talking about. Because these look gorgeous.
Yeah, we learn by doing. And that's the thing about cooking, right? Like, don't be discouraged. Just the end product is you get to eat it. It's going to be delicious, right?
So true.
So don't be discouraged if it didn't come out picture perfect. You're going to eat it, and you're going to make it again and figure it out. So there's our gnocchi ready to go in. These guys are going to go into a 425-degree oven, so pretty hot. And they're going to go for about 15 to 20 minutes until they're golden across the top.
Pretty quick.
Okay.
What size pan is that, out of curiosity?
Oh.
What do you think?
So I'll use my very technical measuring skills. So my sort of hand span is about 9 or 10 inches. So this is how I measure. So I'd say this is a 9,
Nice.
10 by 13. That's what the recipe calls for, is a 10 by 13. That's what this fun enamel pan is, more or
Okay,
less.
amazing. And everyone figure out your hand spans.
It is
you
a
can
good
measure on the
thing.
go too.
So you can measure when you're on the fly, right? All right, and so while that is cooking, we are going to make, now this is what I'm talking about. You say browned butter, and I am there for it. So we're going to make a browned butter sauce.
This kind of sauce is always so tricky for me because I am so impatient that eventually it will burn the second I don't look at it. Like it happens every time almost.
This is true.
So I'm curious. I'm curious to see what I've been doing wrong, and is it truly just my lack of patience?
This is maybe it's bad luck. Maybe this is brown. When you make a brown butter sauce, it's more of a weekend project.
You know, that could be it.
That could be
exactly it.
Right? Where you just are hanging out with it. Because it is sort of a meditative thing.
It feels like a Sunday night dinner thing. You're right.
So maybe it's a weekend project for you. So we're using 4 tablespoons of butter. And what we're doing with browned butter is we're just trying to get... What we're browning is the milk fats in the butter, so they're going to separate out and they're going to get browned. And then, like you said, Mary, as soon as they get that toasty color, and sometimes in French cooking called beurre noisette,
I've
nutty
seen the
butter.
word. Yes.
Right? So noisette is nuts. As soon as it gets to that color, then you pull it off the heat. And in this case, in our case today, we're going to get to that color, and we are going to add in some of that fresh corn kernels. And that's going to give us like almost, hopefully, I think, almost a popcorny.
That's ideal. Trying to work popcorn
flavor
into most of my main food groups would be great.
So this, I think this is a great recipe. I think I also wanted to throw out there a couple of other ways while this is browning and sizzling away. That we can use this pan, this cornmeal. I think it's a great thing to add in to the breading that you're going to put on to, say, some chicken. You could mix this in with cornflakes and this cornmeal, and then you just bake it, and you'd have that same sort of texture as like a fried chicken, but with a great corn flavor. You can definitely also add this in to pancakes. There are some great recipes on the pan website to show you.
Ooh,
traditionally, this is, we think of this corn flour as being used for arepas, which is another delicious thing if you haven't made that. I highly recommend giving that a whirl. But it is so versatile. You can use it for so many things. I would just start, subbing out some of your flours for the pan flour and see how it goes, giving it a little bit of corn taste. So you can see, I don't know if you can see from the shot right here, but you can see little brown bits starting. So there's some foam, and that's normal and natural, but you can see also some brown bits under there. And I'm just moving this around so that any of those milk solids that haven't toasted yet, they start to toast. And we're right there. We're right on the edge. How'd this guy get in here? I don't know.
So, Krista, if we have, for example, eliminated butter from our diet, could we do this with like vegan butter? Could we
With
do
what
this
now?
with vegan butter?
See, I haven't worked very much with trying to brown vegan butter. And
Talk about a weekend project.
There's my weekend project. Thanks for that. And I don't know what kind of solids it has in it, right?
It sounds like experimentation station out there, you guys.
Let's do it.
That would be really, report back.
All right, so there's our brown butter, and it's hard to see, but it is turning quite dark. Let's see if you can see that. All those little bits there, and we're going to add in a half a cup of butter. Get ready, folks. It's going to splutter. Why not just add some more corn? So we're going to add corn in there, and we're going to toast that up a little bit. This is such a safe stovetop, it likes to turn off. So we're going to toast that up a little bit. this is going to be the sauce over the top of our gnocchi when it comes out of the oven. And so I'm going to let that rest there. And then this is where it's going to do its toasting thing. Our recipe asks you to throw some basil on it because basil and corn is such an amazing flavor. But like I said earlier, just go ahead and do what moves you. If you want to do cilantro, if you want to do...
Ooh, what if you did an elote gnocchi situation?
Yes,
oh my gosh.
with some roasted peppers across the top of our dish. No, keep
that
going.
This is good.
This is my favorite game.
Exactly.
What else can we put on here, right? So I'm going to give these a little bit of a once over so that they're dispersed across the top of our...
And Krista, quick question from the chat from Ruby. Is our corn pre-boiled?
Is our corn what?
Pre-boiled? Did we already boil it?
No, it is not.
Oh.
I just went straight off the cob and right into the pan with this. And same with the corn that went into the gnocchi. So this is the quick cooking that it's getting at this really super high heat like this.
Nice.
If you've never had like fresh corn on the cob, just straight off the cob, sweet like that, it's a wonder.
It's a wonder.
It's a wonder. All right, I'm going to call that good and add a little more salt to that. I used unsalted butter, so salt is the flavor amplifier of everybody's dreams.
Of all things.
Of all things. So that's that. And then we are not waiting around 15, 20 minutes for the batch that I put in the oven. Oh no, we are going to use this one that I cooked off earlier, which you'll see. So that cheese melted across the top, and our little squares are still distinct. It hasn't run away in other ways. So this is what our finished dish in this one is looking like. And we're gonna drizzle some of that brown butter and freshly toasted corn across the top. And...
oh, wow, I can smell that.
Can you smell that?
It's so amazing.
Right. Don't be shy. Oh, look, you see, it's fresh corn. We still got little pieces of corn silk in there. Now, this is where, again, let your imagination run wild. If you wanted to serve this, you could make this ahead and then serve this alongside your barbecue. You could make a beautiful tomato salad with this and serve it on the side once summer hits. I feel like this is the recipe that's urging summer in. It's like, come on,
we need
summer.
The sun is just peeking out in our Seattle studio today, but it was so gray this morning.
Yeah.
We'd like to see it.
So sometimes we eat to take a journey to, say, Rome, and sometimes we eat to coax a season forward. So that's what I think this is doing here today. So I'm going to just have to taste it and tell you how it is, folks.
That was so quick.
It is. TV magic is quick like that.
Basically homemade pasta, everybody, what we're doing.
Basically your version of polenta, right?
It looks so pretty from the top.
It's very bright and warm. And it's, it's this was a firm dough, so it's not mushy necessarily, but depending on your ratios of milk and the flour that you use, you can turn this sort of into a more custardy soft or a little bit firmer like polenta.
Definitely.
You guys. The flavor of our gnocchi really, really lifts and carries the rest of the flavors here. So it's very corny, but boy, do I love corn. So there's a lot of corn flavor coming not just from the toasted corn on top, but also from the arepa, the masa, from the pan flour that we used. Very corny, very creamy. And then I definitely could see this being, you could make this and have this for breakfast with like a fried egg and hot sauce on top.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I think this is amazing and fast and easy and a great way to highlight a couple of ingredients turned into a great dish. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope seeing it happen makes you want to jump into your kitchen and make it for yourself. If we have any other questions in the chat, now is the time to ask them.
Just a lot of people are thinking about hot salsa. Mike has said it's a cornucopia of ideas.
Oh,
which
good
we
one.
Love.
Good one. We love it.
And also, this is one of the fastest classes that we've seen. And so folks are like, wait, I just joined. Are you kidding?
Oh, goodness.
We have Chef Krista on all the time, you guys. Everyone, come and join.
Yeah, and all of our classes are taped, so if you miss the beginning, you can catch it on demand. All of our classes are, always something with a twist, I like to think. So we hope that it inspires you. We hope you go back and watch some other classes. We have some other classes with pan for a mushroom arepa that is on demand, which was delicious.
That was good.
And then upcoming, our next class is March 27th at 11 a.m. So a morning class. We're going to make an herbed lasagna. Delicious. Yum. And find us online at Homemade is Live. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope your kitchen is your happy place, and we see you again soon.
Thank you, everybody. See you next time.